This is Insight 2016, presented by Digital Office Solutions, Annex Wealth Management, Reinhardt, Berner, Van Duren, Attorneys at Law, and Wisconsin Manufacturers and Commerce. Now, from the Country Springs Hotel in Waukesha, here's your host, Charlie Sykes.
Welcome back to Inside 2012. Joining me live is Texas Senator Ted Cruz. Welcome to Wisconsin, Senator Cruz.
Charlie, thank you. I'm thrilled to be here.
Now, what makes you think that you can win Wisconsin?
Well, because you got good people here who are fed up with what's happening in Washington and are ready for a real change.
All right, I want to start giving you an opportunity to respond to some of the things that are in the news today, particularly the comments you made after the Belgian terror attack. I guess I would like to ask you about what you meant when you suggested patrolling Muslim neighborhoods. As you know, the president came out and he specifically attacked you, and he said, I just left a country that engages in that kind of neighborhood surveillance, which, by the way, the father of Senator Cruz escaped for America, the land of the free. The notion that we should start down that slippery slope makes absolutely no sense. So the president is taking you on that.
Well, I have to say I'm so sorry to be dismaying Barack Obama. And you know, yesterday and today, I was attacked by Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton and New York's Mayor Bill de Blasio, which suggests maybe I'm doing something right.
So let's talk about what exactly did you mean when you said that law enforcement should be patrolling Muslim neighborhoods?
Well,
because that sounded like you were targeting people.
Sure. Well, let's talk about what happened yesterday. The attack in Brussels was a horrific terrorist attack. And for all of us, our prayers are with the families of those who were murdered, the families of those who were injured. And yesterday's attack, it was not an isolated incident. It was not a lone wolf. It is part of a global jihad that is being waged on America, waged on Europe, waged on Israel by radical Islamic terrorism. And we need a president who isn't constrained by political correctness, who's willing to say the words radical Islamic terrorism and to act decisively to defeat radical Islamic terrorism and to utterly destroy ISIS. Now, what I called for yesterday, that everyone was reacting to, was increased law enforcement, increased military effort, and increased police presence. You know, if you look at Europe, one of the tragic causes of this attack is that Europe's immigration policy has badly failed. They have allowed vast numbers of Islamic terrorists to infiltrate Europe. And they live in isolated communities where radicalism festers. And we need to be using proactive policing. We need to be using proactive law enforcement and intelligence and national security resources to prevent radicalization and to monitor and intercept and stop radical Islamic terrorists before they carry out acts of terror.
Well, isn't a key to that getting cooperation from Muslims both at home and abroad? And some people wonder whether or not the kind of rhetoric that we're hearing from some of the presidential candidates is actually enhancing that or discouraging, non-radicalized Muslims from being willing to come forward and drop a dime.
Well, listen, I have no ability to control the rhetoric used by Donald Trump. I don't know that anybody on the face of the earth has the ability to control his rhetoric. I can tell you what my focus is. My focus is on stopping Islamism. Islamism is different from Islam. Islamism is a political and theocratic approach that mandates that its adherents murder or forcibly convert infidels, by which they define to mean everybody else, and force them to live under Sharia law. And Islamism is a tremendous threat. It is the unifying political and religious theme that is driving the radical Islamic terrorists. And for 7 years, this administration has been so constrained by political correctness, it doesn't acknowledge it. And indeed, every time we have a terror attack, whether it is in Paris, whether it's in San Bernardino, or no doubt coming after Brussels, the president does a national TV conference. He doesn't address the real threat, but instead he lectures Americans on Islamophobia. I think enough is enough. We need a commander-in-chief who will keep this country safe.
So how would your approach, specifically, how would your approach to fighting ISIS be different than what Hillary Clinton is saying she will do and what Donald Trump is saying he will do?
You asked about fighting ISIS in particular?
Yes, what are the war on terror in general?
Well, if you take ISIS, we need to begin with a commander-in-chief that sets an objective, that we're not going to weaken ISIS, we're not going to degrade ISIS, we are going to utterly and completely destroy ISIS. Now, how do we do that? We start with overwhelming air power. We carpet bomb ISIS into oblivion. We take out their command and control. We take out their communication. We take out their infrastructure. We take out their transportation. We take out their oil fields. We take out the oil refineries.
Do you mean carpet bombing or precision bombing?
I mean using overwhelming air power to saturation bomb and take them out. And to give you a sense of what I mean by that, in the first Persian Gulf War, 25 years ago, we launched roughly 1,100 air attacks a day. We did that for 37 days, carpet bombed them, 1,100 air attacks a day, and then our troops came in and in a day and a half mopped up what was left of the Iraqi army. Right now today, the Obama administration is launching between 15 and 30 air attacks a day. It's pinprick. It is photo op foreign policy. It's a bomb here, a missile there. You get an explosion on CNN, but it does virtually nothing to defeat ISIS. One of the great advantages of having the military we have with the immense power is overwhelming air superiority. We ought to be using that. Secondly, we ought to be arming the Kurds. The Kurds right now are fighting against ISIS. They are having real successes, but ISIS has American military equipment that they've seized in Iraq. The Obama administration refuses to arm the Kurds. They are our allies, and they're fighting with outmoded weaponry, and the Kurds, in a very real sense, can be our boots on the ground. And then third, to the extent we need embedded special forces or troops on the ground, before we send any troops into combat, we should end these rules of engagement that are tying their hands behind their back and making it impossible for them to win.
Well, wouldn't Donald Trump do the same thing?
You know, the truth of the matter is nobody knows, because Donald's positions change day by day. 2 days ago, Donald came out publicly and advocated for weakening NATO, and indeed he suggested that America should withdraw from NATO. Now, Charlie, there's a word for that. That's called nuts. NATO has been one of the most successful military alliances of modern times. And we've seen for 7 years what happens when America recedes from the world. We've seen leading from behind and withdrawing from NATO. If Donald Trump did what he said he wants to do, that would be a tremendous victory for Putin. It would be a tremendous victory for ISIS. ISIS would be dancing in the streets at Donald Trump unilaterally surrendering, abandoning Europe. And I would notice it is part and parcel of his approach towards Israel. Donald has said that he would be neutral between Israel and the Palestinians. That is a statement that buys into the moral relativism of the left and the media that equates Israeli soldiers who are protecting innocent civilians to the Islamic terrorists that are murdering women and children. They are not morally equivalent. And I believe anyone that can't tell the difference between our friends and enemies, that raises real questions about their fitness and judgment to be commander-in-chief.
Let's take a short break, Senator, and when we come back, I want to talk more about this debate and the choice that Wisconsin voters are going to have to make on April 5th. You are listening to News Radio 620 WTMJ Insight 2016.